Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not Enough Spoons for Mondays. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Neva.
And we are here to just have a chatty friend time on this lovely Monday. Neva, how are you doing? What's up? What are you up to? How was your weekend? All the things, the updates that we do.
Yeah. I mean, my weekend was fine. And then it kind of just exploded yesterday. So I haven't even told you what's happened.
The thing that is going to be really interesting about this recording of Not Enough Spoons for Mondays is last week we missed our recording time, and we're going to get into why life is crazy at the moment, just in general. But I normally talk to Neva every single day, and I have not talked to Neva every single day for the past week. We've checked in, we've done little check-ins to make sure everything's above board and say, hey, I love you. I hope you're having a great day. But good chat moments have not happened.
We've not had a good chat moment. Well, so yesterday I got a text from Ari's dad, which, I mean, if you're an OG to the channel, you know who I'm talking about. If not, you don't, but it's fine. Ari's dad, okay?
It's not necessary to know for
context. And there was a family member from over there that we hung out with a lot in Indiana that passed away yesterday.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
I had to tell Ari that. But I also had to tell her that on top of that, he's going to miss her birthday because of the arrangements and stuff that are being made. Right. So he was like, I'll come the week after her birthday. He's like, but I'm not going to make it to her actual birthday party. So, neurospicy people,
that's hard. That's hard.
Deal with change very well.
No, that's hard.
So she started crying. So I started crying. So it was just oh, crying.
Could you maybe try to spin it like she's getting 2 birthdays?
Yeah, which I did. I told her well, now you get to spend time with just your dad for your birthday because she wants to go to the mall with the whole family, which is fine. But we have a big family, so that's hectic. You know what I mean? Just if it was just my dad, my siblings, and Ari, that right there is 7 people. So and that's not including any my sister has a son. That's not including my grandma. That's not including my cousin that she wants to invite. So there's gonna be 12 of us trapezing through the mall.
So through the mall. Yeah, that's a lot, and it's hard for her to connect with her dad.
Yeah,
not massive people. So
right.
And now she'll have some nice special one-on-one time almost.
Right, and he will spend he was planning on doing this anyway, but he will spend a few days in town and stay at at a hotel here and stuff like that. So. But I was now you get to have your birthday at the mall, but then when your dad gets here, you also will get to see your dad. And she wasn't very happy about it.
I think I was I don't reiterating it, even you know what I mean, bring I always feel with children, especially her age group, she's still at that point where she's almost not leadable, but she still kind of is. Do you know what I mean? She's right on the precipice of you can still kind of, with a lot of excitement and spinning something a certain way, you can lead her to it,
Right.
Soon you're going to lose that because she's going to get older and be more of her, less leading with excitement. But I feel with small kids or 8, 9 years old, you can if you lead with excitement and confidence, maybe not right away they'll join you there, but they will get there.
They'll get there eventually. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then of course they get morphed into she was sad about the person that passed away. I'm not going to share online who that is because they're not my family member. They're no,
that makes perfect sense.
Family by extension, I guess. But it's still sad.
Important important in your life at a time. They were important in your life.
Right. And then but otherwise my weekend was very chill because we just had 24-hour sprints this weekend.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
Here's why I had the reaction I had is life has been so busy that feels like that happened at least a week ago.
I actually had to remind myself the only reason that I even remembered is because I read half of Quicksilver over 24-hour sprints.
Oh,
and I had to film the coffee and book chat this week. And I had 3 books on that this week. One was a DNF, which I feel bad about because it was also a buddy read, but
that happens.
I was buddy reading with Rainey, and I had messaged her, and I was like, bro, I don't care about this book. And the thing is like, it wasn't even like where I was like, oh, I want to DNF this. But it got to a point where I was like, if this sat on my currently reading for the next like year, I would never think about the fact that it was on my currently reading. And that's as much of a sign to DNF as like not vibing with it at all. Because I was only vibing with it when I was reading it.
Mm-hmm. No, I have a book like that currently sitting on my currently reading that has been paused for, I'm going to say, since February. And it is a buddy read, so I'm not going to say what book it is because I should probably inform the buddy if I am going to DNF it before I put it on here. But to say that every time I think about picking that book up, I'm like, I really should just DNF it at this point. Like, it's just been sitting, and like, I was liking it, but the fact that I paused it for 2 months and every time I think about picking it up, I have like a kind of like a negative feeling about it.
Yeah.
Shows me that I wasn't enjoying it. And honestly, when I put a book down for that long, there's reasons I put it down for that long. Like
right.
It's rarely because like life got in the way. Like, it might have been put down for a minute because life got in the way, but months, no. There's other things happening.
I think the only exception to this for me in like recent history has been House of Bane and Blood. It did take me like 6 months to finish that, but it wasn't because I wasn't enjoying it. It was legitimately because I wanted it to still be a buddy read with Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
And so and trying to coordinate me and Margaret was a little bit dicey. So then we ended up just reading it over a 24-hour sprint weekend because I was like, okay, Margaret, I have 2 hours left of the audio. We gotta finish it. And like, even now I'm aware that I'm gonna have to reread it before I can move on to the second book. And it's not Margaret's fault. It's honestly my fault. And it's not because I waited so long to read it. It's because I was trying to juggle so many other books on top of that book also. And I was reading like 6 books at once. So I really retained nothing in that time frame anyway. But yeah, I finished, but I read half of Quicksilver over the weekend, and I had purposely put that as because I was like, oh, like because Quicksilver was like the opposite effect. Like I put Quicksilver down and I was like, oh my gosh, like when can I get back to like reading this book? So like I get the hype.
Oh, Quicksilver's fabulous.
It'll be in my book and coffee chat this week.
So. It's totally fabulous. And I agree with you with House of Maid and Blood because I also put that one down for an extended period of time, kind of a part of your buddy read with Margaret because I was in it and then I wasn't because of a 12-hour readathon. And that was one that I didn't put down for any. Well, I put it down because I had to start a timed situation. Like life got in the way. Right. And every time I did want to pick it up, like it was that I did want to pick it up, but it was like, actually, I know I'm going to love this so much that I want it in content because I want to share it. And it never fit into any current content. Like it was like, oh, it doesn't fit there. It doesn't fit there. It doesn't fit there. It doesn't fit there. So then it just kept getting like pushed. So that wasn't like, oh, I'm not picking it up because I'm not really wanting to. I'm not picking it up because I want to have this great experience with it. And I currently don't have the time to do so.
I'm actually so glad, kind of like it's like a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna have to reread it because I didn't realize that when I was buddy reading it, I hadn't finished it. Mm-hmm. So it's on something for content. You would know what this is if you think about it. And when I went to go film the announcement video for this, which is going up next week, it's taking me forever to finally get it up. But we're not going to talk about the amount of footage I had to offload in the last 2 days. We're not going to talk about that.
Feel this.
From now on, I will be offloading footage every Friday because when I tell you I have like footage from a month ago,
I do it every day.
I might have to. For right now, I'm gonna go with every Friday.
Sure.
But when I tell you that I was like, oh, I need to offload all my footage because I have no room on one SD card and 30 minutes on the other. And I was like, ma'am. Okay, you remember when we unboxed the goodies from Jean?
Yes.
Yeah, that footage never made it into I'm filming a vlog this week that it will fit into. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very random footage. Like I'm going to be like, oh, by the way, this footage from a month ago needs to go in here. But it makes sense for it to go into this vlog that I'm filming. But yeah, I was like, okay, girl, this is not the vibe. I was like, no wonder you haven't had any freaking videos go up. It's because you just have footage all over the place.
Honestly, it's such an easy thing, which is why I do it every day. It's such an easy thing to like push off because it is time consuming. I don't think people realize how long it takes to offload footage, but it takes some time. It's not like a quick thing.
Because you have to sort it.
You have to put it in files, put it in places so that you know what the heck it is. Name it if it must be named, depending on what kind of footage it is. Like it takes time to do it. And I do it every night because also I airdrop my footage because I don't have a camera. I use my phone.
Your phone.
So I airdrop my footage. And a lot of the footage is sometimes like B-roll isn't long, but like if I'm filming a sit down video, that's quite the clip and quite the size to be airdropping somewhere.
Right.
And I found that it airdrops faster when I do it at night when everybody's asleep because I'm the only one using the Wi-Fi.
Using the internet. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. So it's just significantly faster than trying to do it during the day. And also then I get it off my phone because my phone only has so much storage space. So like really then for the next day, if I have a film heavy day, which not every day is a film heavy day, but you know, so sometimes you don't even know you're about to have a film heavy day until it stumbles upon you.
Until you film 12 clips for the day and you're like, oh, wow. Okay.
And the worst thing that can ever happen is that in the middle of a clip, it just stops recording because you have run out of space. This happened to me fairly recently, like a month ago. What was I filming? I don't even remember what I was filming, but I had like an hour and a half's worth of footage for this sit down video. I was like, I don't even remember what video it is. Now I want to like look at my most recent videos to like try and recall. And it was like an hour and a half of footage. Plus I had like footage for other things that I hadn't offloaded yet. And I was like, halfway through the camera went, or not halfway through. I only had like a tiny bit left to talk about, but then my phone was like, you have no more footage. And I was
just kidding. Oh. Yeah. Mine is always that I forget to change the battery before I go to film. And so I'll be mid-sentence and my battery will die.
That's the worst. It's literally the worst. I'm looking to see what it was because
then I have to try to remember where I left off to try to film so I can splice the clips together.
I know what it was. It was my anticipated releases video because
that makes sense.
What I was doing, which I do typically do, is because it's anticipated releases, I don't have the books and I don't know anything about them. So I'll read the synopsis and then like regurgitate what the book is about to the public.
People. Yeah.
So there was 20 books, but like when I'm reading the synopses on the computer, I don't turn my camera off because if I turn it off and then I turn back to start talking, there is a possibility I forget to turn
your camera back on.
Correct.
Yep.
So then I'm like talking and nothing's being filmed, and that's the worst.
The actual worst.
Actually, the worst. That's actually I second that is actually the worst.
That as someone who's done that and filmed a 20-minute Kindle Collections video that never actually got filmed.
Exactly.
So then it became a 4-minute Kindle Collections video because I was so angry that I had just spent 20 minutes talking to no one.
So I had an hour and a half's worth of footage. The video is only 30 minutes long because half the footage is me reading synopses on the screen.
Right.
And it's not I'm going to cut the whole part of me reading the synopsis because it's just silence. It's just me looking at a computer in silence. Nobody needs to see that part of the video. That would be strange to keep it in. But like I had like 2 anticipated releases left when my phone was like, and you are done. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, I thought I offloaded my footage last night. Like I should have had tons of room. And then I realized I forgot to delete the recently deleted folder.
Yeah.
So I had offloaded the footage, deleted it, but not like fully deleted it. So it was still taking up storage space.
Right. Yeah. I figured out that I have to get a second external hard drive. Mine is full. Because I do keep the original files from stuff. I'm thinking maybe just deleting them. I think it's like a thing of like, oh my God, what if I need these clips?
Yeah.
But I think I don't need the clips. You know, I don't need the clips. So I'm thinking that what I need to do is just keep the the final product, because then like if something happens, I need to re-upload the video. I have that. But there's no reason for me to be hoarding
I have recently switched to doing this, is just keeping the uploaded video, because
And
I'm like,
I keep the completed video file too, and I'm like, you don't need the edited completed video and the video clips. What do you need the video clips for? You're gonna re-edit the video?
I literally have done this just like last week. I was like, why am I keeping all the clips once I have an edited video? Like, I'll just keep that. Because even if I felt like, oh, I really would like to re-edit this, I'll edit the edited video.
The edited video. I'm not going to re-watch old, like the original footage to then. And the thing is like, I think I realized this when I did Leandra's video, her reading my friend's favorite books video, because actually I had been saving the files to my computer.
Yes.
Before I got an external hard drive. I don't know why I didn't just get it, but I asked my dad, I said, do you have an extra external hard drive? He said, yeah, he gave me one. And so I was like, oh, this is so much better, because now it's not taking up like a ton, because I was running out of room on my computer, and then it wasn't letting me edit anything or upload anything.
Yeah.
And with Leandra's video, her video, you would never know this, except that like in the middle, listen, you would know this actually if you've watched it, because in the video, I never went back and edited it because I'm lazy, but they like in the middle of the video, you get my end.
I remember this. Yes,
and then it goes back into it. It's because that was all edited together originally. So when I moved that file to my external hard drive, it was all one video, and I didn't think to go back through and make sure that there wasn't an end thing. I thought I had cut that off already, and that's why, because it was all one edited video. And I was like, okay, well, obviously, like if I ever needed to re-edit a video for some reason, like I decided like there was a clip of Ari I didn't want in the video, I would just re-edit. I would just edit the edited video. I wouldn't go back and like re-put in all the footage and then watch it again, because theoretically I would edit it exactly the same way. I would just cut out that clip.
You're just cutting out a tiny clip of it, so you can just cut it from the edit. I only started doing this last week. I'm like, why am I keeping all the clips of a video that's done?
And I think it's like in our head, we're like, well, what if it's like with physical things too, right? When we declutter things, where we're like, well, I might need this someday. Okay, but ma'am, have you used that in 6 months? No, then it's got to go. Like, and it's the same thing like with digital declutter. I just don't think about the digital decluttering as much because I can't physically see it. So until I open my external hard drive, and my external hard drive is like, hey, you need 1 gigabyte's worth of storage in order to move this, because that's what happened yesterday, because I was moving clips and it was like, you need 7 gigabytes worth of storage, and I was like, what?
Right.
And so then I started going through and I was like, okay, what can I delete? But then I was like, ma'am, if this is already a completed video, because like all I need to do is go look at my completed videos folder and see, okay, these are edited videos. I already have like my January book tag from 2025. Cool. I will keep that, but I don't need the clips from it.
No, totally. How was my weekend?
Yeah.
My weekend was so busy. It was so busy, which I think is obvious that we were both very busy in our own rights. You had 24-hour sprints. I was doing stuff, because the fact that we haven't spoken in, I would say, 4 days, other than a quick, like, we have spoken. I don't want
people, we've said like, hi friend.
But it's been like, I miss your face. I love you. Bye. Like it's fast and it's in passing, and it's at a speed and you miss it just because we've been very busy. So Saturday was indie bookstore day.
Yes, it was. I'm sad that I didn't have money for it this year, but it's okay. I'm going to make, I paid it forward by, not reading Quicksilver on my Kindle. I grabbed the audiobook from the library instead.
Oh, nice. Which is great to support.
I was like, maybe if we just don't support Amazon for 1 day. And it's not hurting. I paid for the book. Like I own the physical.
Yes, you do.
Book of Quicksilver. So like the author has my money. Okay.
Exactly.
So it's fine. So I didn't feel bad that I was like, okay, well, you download this on KU, which like I did, because it is for KU Clean Out. But I was like, but you bought.
But you're helping the author, but through KU too, because Kindle Unlimited and just buying on your Kindle are two very different things.
Yeah, because I did read the first 10 chapters on my Kindle.
And every page is coin
Every
for the
page
author.
is a little bit of money. So I was like, okay, she's gotten some money from my KU download. And I bought the book. So she got my money for that. So I was like, so for Indie Bookstore Day, I completely avoided Amazon, actually.
And I think it's really important to remember that as much as that's great to participate in one day, and I did have so much fun, we'll talk about what I did in a second, that we need to be supporting indie bookstores all the time.
Yeah, and
whenever possible. Because again, I do understand logistically for some people it's not possible, and that's totally fine.
The easiest way to do it is if you listen to audiobooks, in my opinion.
Libro.
The easiest way, just switch from Audible to Libro. I actually talked to my brother about this the other day because he said, why haven't you paid for the Audible? And I said, because
we're Libro
we're not using Audible anymore. Like, I'm not going to delete the account because if I do that, then we lose all the books.
Well, you already have audiobooks that you paid for. You might as well keep.
But I said I'm not going to wipe it. And obviously we're from a small town, so we still use Amazon Prime if we need to. There's just some stuff that I can't get locally.
100%.
But I said, but as far as audiobooks, I said, I will buy you credits, but we will be buying them from Libro so that we can, I'm not going to say the name of the bookstore. I always almost slip and say the name of my indie.
I can always edit stuff out.
But I said we need to support our local indie. I said the name to him because he knows it, and he was like, "Oh yeah," and he was like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." He was like, "That's fine." So I was like, "It's not that we're not going to get audiobooks because he's dyslexic. It's really the only way that he reads."
No, and audiobooks are important to support for authors as well,
right? But I was like, "Well, we're doing it. We're doing it through Libro."
Money. Yeah,
we're doing it through Libro because then we're also supporting our local indie, and we want to keep our local indie open. And I think
it's really important to separate that we still need to support authors.
Yeah,
and not it's and how to do that correctly, and supporting indie stores and authors and the people that should be being supported. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, so Indie Bookstore Day, yes, we love it.
So 9 of the bookstores in my area that are indie, so used or indie not used, came together and made a bingo board to do a book crawl. So could you visit all 9 in one day? And if you got stamps, you were put in for a prize on your bingo board.
Fun.
Isn't that so fun? I mean, it's a bingo board.
Yeah, we love a bingo board.
By the time this goes out, my video of visiting 9 bookstores will be out because it's going out the Friday before this goes out. So you can go watch my experience visiting 9 bookstores in one day. But to say that I was the most exhausted upon returning to my home, I was so tired because it was such a big community because so many people were doing it because you had to do it all in one day. And, there were people as they were getting their, bingo boards done. Everybody was shopping and talking, and it was so fun. And I think it's funny because I left the house and I was like, oh, I'll be back at this time, which was about 4 hours after I left. And I thought somehow that I was going to visit all 9 bookstores in 4 hours. Now, I don't. Sorry. I love that you're stopping. You're like,
you probably could have if you didn't browse at all. If you just showed up and then drove away.
Well, some of them are really close because you could walk to some of them. They're because they were in downtown, right? Some of them were in downtown. So I was we're gonna park and walk because trying to find parking on a Saturday.
You might as well park somewhere and then just walk it and then walk back to the car. Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely,
whenever possible, because downtown parking is.
Yeah, you live in a city.
I live in a city. Downtown parking is not fun. Now, some of them were not in the city, so you had to drive in they have parking spots though. They have parking lots, so those were less stressful to park at. Anyway, 9 bookstores in one day. I grossly underestimated how long that was going to take me, and it took me 9 hours. I guess that makes sense. One hour per bookstore.
1 hour per bookstore. Yep.
Yeah, about that. Plus lunch. We stopped and had lunch somewhere, as you would have to do at some point. You need sustenance to get through the day. 2 coffee stops throughout the day because again, you need the coffee. You need the caffeine.
You need things to get through a book crawl. I'm just saying. Exactly. I'm just saying. Come on.
You need the sustenance, you need the caffeine, or you start to wane in ability to accomplish your task.
Right.
So anyway, I ended up getting 9 new books. But a lot of them were used books. So that was nice that I only actually bought 2 like not used books. So it actually wasn't too bad on the wallet, which was nice. Then on Sunday, because that wasn't enough apparently, I went to a book exchange on Sunday at a tap room downtown. I had to go back into downtown, did a book exchange there, and got more books, which was not with the plan. I took 12 books with me, and I came home with 9, which was not the plan. I was hoping to like take 12 and come home with like 3. That was like I was like hoping to really lessen my load. And I didn't. That video will not be out by the time this goes out, but that also happened this weekend. Then I came home from that, did a book club live show, like within the hour of returning. And then I immediately ended that live show and went out to dinner with my family. And that was the weekend. And I Monday was just like, I cannot leave the house. Like, do not expect me to leave. I have hit my quota of things to do today. Like the weekend I was not home. I need a day at home. I need a day of rest, And that was yesterday. Because obviously for anyone who doesn't know, who's catching this the first time, we film on Tuesdays, usually Tuesday or Wednesday. So Monday was yesterday. Tonight, however, I'm back out again, going to a Broadway show, a traveling Broadway show that's here in town for Chicago. So, this is why we are just so busy right now. And one of the things that I really wanted to talk to Neva today about was just like seasons of life, because currently the season of life that I don't know what happened. We went in, I remember talking to you at the beginning of the year, and I'm not saying that we haven't done exactly what we said we were going to do, because we have in a lot of ways. We were a lot more careful about what we said yes to. We've been intentional with what we're signing up to do, and not taking on more than we can handle in a work way. But as I just listed, IRL life has gotten quite busy. I feel like for both of us, to be honest, in a lot of ways. Our kids' lives are super busy right now. Our kids have a lot going on, which that's a whole other thing. The kid activities that like descend upon you, that like obviously you do have to pick and choose which ones you do, but you don't want to like disappoint your kids and not make sure they can get to the things that are really important to them. So you're adding activities that they want to do, and you're doing all these things. And I mean, mine has another one on Friday and another thing on this day, and I'm like, are we ever home? Like it feels like we're constantly on the go lately, and it's all good things. I keep saying that to people. I'm like, I'm so busy, but it's all good things. Like we're having fun. We're doing good. I mean, I went to 9 bookstores and a book exchange this weekend. I'm going to a Broadway show this weekend. We've got kid activities, and I don't talk about my kid stuff online, but it's all like fun parties and, groups and clubs and all good, exciting things that he's excited about. And it's all great things. And even in work ways, the things that we're doing with BookTube, like all the collabs that have fallen into our laps, or readathons, or whatever, that's all, so fun. We're so excited to be hanging out with our friends and doing these things. But I feel like from about April, the 1st of April on, there's been a shift in the season of life that I am in. And I think we're kind of in the same, in different ways, because obviously our lives are not exactly the same. But we both have hit like a really busy season of life, just like out of nowhere. I feel like maybe it's not out of nowhere. Maybe we saw it coming and like just missed it. I don't know. Maybe the things that we decided to do at the beginning of the year have now culminated into like life changes that have led to this season of life. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But I was like, Neva, today we need to talk about seasons of life, because even the fact that we haven't talked in depthly in, I would say, 4 to 5 days, which for most people probably doesn't sound like a lot, but for us, that's a significant portion.
Yeah, for us, because we tend to have very in-depth conversations at least once
every day. Yes,
every day. So up until like the last week, I would say like from the beginning of the year, even before we started saying like, let's do check-ins, which we started doing in March, where we were doing like morning check-ins where we'd come in the morning and we'd say, this is what I plan to do today. And then we would check in at night to say, this is what I actually did today. And that's mostly just to help ourselves keep ourselves accountable, because Brittany and I both do YouTube full time. So
Yes.
and so it's nice to have like kind of an accountability buddy who can help you to stay on track, because when you do something like this full time where you're working, I think working at home, period, right? You're making like your own schedule unless you are like hired through a company. So by this, I mean, if you're running like your own small business or you're doing content creation full time, like Brittany and I do, there's no one to hold you accountable. There's no boss to say, hey, dude, why are you playing Wildflowers for 6 hours when you should be doing this? So like, and here's the thing, I do believe that rest is productive. So like, I have made it so that there's going to be some days, especially because like I have chronic pain, right? There's going like today, I'll be like 100% transparent. Today is a bad chronic pain day. It's mostly because it's my time of the month. So she's just like, we're on day 4 and she's like, ma'am, you know what I'm saying? So like, I'm in a lot of pain today. It's nothing that I can't like deal with, but it is like, I am in pain. So there are just some days where I'm just like, okay, you're not going to be able to do this. Like, that's just what it is. Like, you'll actually see that very transparently in a vlog. It actually goes up at the end of this week. It's my YouTube as a full-time job vlog, which technically YouTube is my full-time job. So like, whatever. But it was kind of my spin of Margaret's doing reading as a full-time job. And there is a day where I say like, I did no work today. Like I called out. Like that is what it is, because that's realistic. Sometimes other things get in the way, you get sick, you don't feel well, whatever. But the fact that Brittany and I have not even really done check-ins in the last week to say like, hey, this is what we're doing. I don't know if Brittany has noticed like a dip in productivity on the YouTube side, but I've noticed that not checking in with Brittany on my end has made it so that I'm still accountable and I'm still like getting things done, but I'm not feeling as productive. Now that changed a little bit yesterday because I changed the way that I'm planning my weeks out. I'm using a different kind of spread because since the beginning of the year, I've kind of just used a planner page where I just dump everything into each day. And I was like, this is not working. Like, this has not worked for April. Like, April, I agree. There was a shift in April.
There was a shift. I don't know what it was. And I just feel like April has been so different. Again, I don't want to say it in a bad way because it hasn't been. It's been a really good month overall. But life systems have had to change because other things are happening, and work has to look a little different because other things are happening. And it's just, it's just when you are home full time, like we are as stay-at-home moms and doing, YouTube and BookTube and all the bits of that it is. If one thing changes with your kids having more activities, everything has to shift. Everything has to shift. Nothing can, it's not a 9 to 5 where like your job stays 9 to 5, but now your kids' activities change in the evening. No, everything shifts to a lot for that time difference. And one thing that I wanted to mention while we're talking about our check-ins is I think the check-ins are honestly like, I love listening to your check-in, but I don't like, I'm never going to be like, oh, did you do this today? It's like, it's just putting it out in the universe for accountability.
And I think that's the thing is that not putting it out into the universe has made it so that there are tasks that I don't think about.
And I think also this is something that I have realized doing those with you is that I am, and so are you, because I've heard you say this before, very much process verbally, where I will come to you with a problem in a Voxer. Like I'll be like, okay, this is my problem. And through the course of talking, you're not even listening yet. You have not joined the chat. Nothing has happened. You have brought nothing to it because we have a 2-hour time difference and I'm talking to you at 7 a.m. and it's 5 a.m. for you and you're still asleep. Like, this happens often that we are, especially where we did morning and evening chats, our morning and evenings are
different.
2-hour difference makes a difference. If
Yeah.
you're, I'm in bed or you're in bed or whatever, depending on what time of day it is. And I will start with the question and then I will start talking to you about it. And by the end of the Voxer that you have still yet to hear, I have solutioned the problem all on my own. And I was talking it out loud.
And I think you explained this so much better than I just did, because that's what I was trying to come to, was not that like, I'm not saying to Brittany, hey, I'm going to do XYZ today.
And then I come
Brittany's
to you
not
and be
coming
like,
to me saying, did you get this done? Like, it's not like that. This is like a literal thing of like, Brittany and I just are verbal processors. So coming to each other and saying, hey, this is my plan for the day. It helps to verbalize it, makes it so that I remember to do it. And I've noticed that because we haven't done that in the last week, that I go to look at my planner at the end of the day to like check things off or just see like, okay, what needs to be moved to a different day? Because again, your to-do list is a to-do list, not a today list. And I'll be like, I don't even remember writing this down because I never verbalized it to anyone. I never verbalized it to Brittany. I never said to Brittany like, hey, I'm thinking about doing XYZ. So like, I'm trying to look into doing merch in a different way that's maybe a little bit better for my people that are not currently in the US, because I know that like with tariffs and all the crap that's happening, shipping stuff is really weird. And I also want a little bit more freedom with creation than Bonfire gives me. Now, I love Bonfire, like don't get me wrong. I may still keep that store open because it's free to use it.
Well, yeah, it's really only accessible for US and Canada. I know you can order from it in other countries, but the shipping cost is crazy. Outlandish.
And so I probably will keep my Bonfire store open for people that want to use it, but especially because like we have thrown around the idea of merch for this show too. I was like, okay, but what can we use? And one of our friends, I won't say who it is because I don't know if she wants me to say, but
and I don't think it's like officially launched yet. So
yeah. One of our friends gave me another place that I could look into. And so I've been playing with it because actually the customization on this specific website, it's free to start using. Okay. And then you can like connect it to Etsy, which is cool because I would prefer to do that anyway, because I'm not trying to like, I don't have anywhere to store merch at my house. But also you can customize it. You can customize the front, the back, the sleeves, and the tag,
which is lovely.
So like I can make this like 100% like my own thing, and then it's just a different company, it's a company sending them out to people, so I don't have to actually hold anything, which is kind of where I'm at. Is like I'm like I want to have like the freedom of customization for merch, but I can't store merch. Like
no, we can't have storefronts in our house. Like we can't fit that kind of stock. Like that just it's not realistic.
And I love
at this stage in life. That's not, again, stages of life. Stages of life that does not
but
work.
Also Ari is like, so right now she's doing an activity that Ryan takes her to, which that has been an adjustment because there was a splitting of households in March. So like Ryan and I are not together anymore. I've gotten some questions about it. So like I'll just
put it here in the morning show and just realize, everyone, we're not open to discussion in the comments about it.
I don't want to talk about it. Like there's nothing to talk about. Just know that, because I have gotten questions about like why he hasn't been like, no one's heard him in like vlogs and stuff. That's why we're not together. But for the sake of Ari, like he comes around, whatever. He takes her to an activity on Mondays, but come May, she wants to switch from that activity to Girl Scouts, which is fine. There was no opening in our local chapter for her to join right away anyway, which is why she did this other activity on Mondays. But that activity ends in May and then doesn't come back until school starts again because of summer reading program because it's at the library. So summer reading program takes over that. But then like in July, I'm going to have all 4 of my kids. for a week. And so I have to come up with activity for all 4 of them, and all of them are neurospicy. So I'm like, okay, well, what can I take them to? Like, there's going to be a week where you don't see me on the internet. Like, there's just no way that I can juggle
No,
the
because
internet and my kids.
that needs to be the priority that week.
Yeah,
And so that makes perfect sense.
I am going to be doing Christmas in July still, but everything is going to be pre-filmed. I'm going to start pre-filming. I'm going to start filming everything starting the first week of May. So like next week, I'm going to start filming everything for Christmas in July, because then it will already be edited and like ready to go. So all I have to do is hit like the schedule button, and I'm just going to unlist everything, and then I'll just go in and I'll hit like the schedule button for everything. So you'll see videos from me in that week, but there will be like no sprints, no lives, nothing like that. And depending on when they're coming to me, I'm hoping they come to me in the middle of July, because otherwise I may have to cancel July 24-hour sprints. I'm hoping not to have to, but if I have to, I have to. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But like, there's just so much happening. And the thing is like, I think for me, I don't feel like I'm super busy because I only have 1 kid full time, right? But I have other family that also have things happening, right? So like my dad has a surgery next week. My brother has activities that he does after school. We have siblings that live a town over that like to hang out. Like Ari wants to have like sleepovers with my one of my non-binary siblings that lives a town over. So I'm like, okay, well, how can I schedule that on top of like, I'm about to start my Patreon watch along on that takes over my Saturday nights. So it's like in my head, I was like, oh, I don't really have that much. And then I switched my planning system to this productivity layout where I can break everything down into 5 categories, right? So I have like a today, which is just like generic, like my top 3 things I want to get done for the day. And then any like appointments go in there. Then I have like my home, which I don't have a ton of like home stuff to do because my home life is very everyday things.
I think that's something we could always talk about at some point is it's not monotonous because I love our lives. Like I love it. And
but there's some stuff that doesn't change.
I thrive under a schedule with my anxiety.
Me too.
Like, I love a schedule. Same. And again, both of our kids are neurospicy and they tend to appreciate a schedule. Our kids do at least. So for a lot of reasons, for my mental health, I love a schedule, but it is when you are a stay-at-home mom, you know, a lot of times I'll be like, if I do a weekly vlog, people are going to be like, oh, she does the dishes every day. She does the, you know, like that's all it is. It's, oh, I put laundry in. I did dishes. Tomorrow, copy, paste, same thing. The next day,
right.
copy,
like
same thing. Same thing.
I was actually looking at the home category, and I think I'm going to change it next week to something else. I don't know what. I may just put like a daily affirmation there or something to kind of just get me through my day, or like a daily gratitude. Like I may switch today to the second category, and at the top category can be like an affirmation or a prayer or something just for me to look at. I think I may just call it like daily glimmer or something that's just something like a picture for the day or something that's just a thing for me to look at, because I'm looking at my home. I have one thing, and it was from yesterday. It was Ari's activity from yesterday that she does on Mondays. And I was like, I have nothing else to put in the home because I would literally just be putting like laundry. Trash day is on Thursday, but like I can put that under the today.
Right.
Like I don't need to put that under home. Like my home life is very monotonous. Really what needs to be broken down is my work tasks. Work and then the stuff that I do for Patreon. Those are the 2 things that need to be really broken down. And then I have a self-care section, because I will tell you that the thing that gets put to the wayside when I feel like there's too much stuff to do is my daily self-care. And I need to do something for daily self-care, whether that is catching up on a show, right? Because like Sister Wives came back, or that is reading a book for enjoyment. Not even if it is a book that is like technically like all of my books, I am making content around my reading this year. So everything I'm reading is going to end up in content somehow, even if that's just the book and coffee chats, which is why I started doing those, because I was like, well, at least they can be talked about in these weekly wrap-ups, even if they're talked about nowhere else. So I don't feel like I'm just reading and it has nowhere to go, because really, I have really figured out the books that I love. I mean, yes, I get duds sometimes, obviously. Like, it's never going to be perfect, but the amount of 5 and 6 stars I've had this year already compared to like lower rated or DNF'd books is actually crazy, because I'm like, oh, I've actually figured out like what I enjoy reading.
Yes.
So really, the ones that are kind of like dicey about where they're going to go are, like, rating wise, are books that are recommended to me.
Yes, I totally see that. And I think I always go, well, yes, I share everything that I read, but that doesn't mean I'm not reading for enjoyment, because at the end of the day, we started BookTube channels just to share our love of books, not for
We had
not
nobody
for
to
any
talk
other
to.
reason. So
Yeah.
there was no other purpose for it at the beginning, right?
It
Like
was
there was
just
there
to
was
read
there was nobody
and share.
watching then. Nobody
That's
watched. It was just
that's
for
what I'm
us to share.
saying.
So when I read a book and I'm not sharing about it, and it's like a book that I really love, that like doesn't even feel right to my spirit. Like I'm like, but I need to tell my friends about it. Like I need to share about this book, you know?
And I think that's the thing is, I think for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I've noticed that other of my friends have had similar goals to me for 2025. So I feel confident in saying that at least some people feel this way. I feel like 2024, we all just were like burnout by the end of the year, because we were just reading for content, and we weren't making content around what we wanted to read. I looked at my stats last year compared to this year so far, and we're not even halfway through the year. I had so many like 1 to 3 star books, and I was like, no, in 2025 I would have never picked these books up.
Yeah. I think
and it's
also
because I was reading for I was reading for the content. I wasn't
yeah.
reading. Yeah.
I think also last year I stumbled into more like, oh, I'm going to read the popular books.
Me
Even
too.
if it doesn't feel authentic to me to read
Everybody
it.
else is reading them. Yeah.
This year I'm really trying to be careful about that. Now, sometimes if I do, it might be a popular book and I may still pick it up because when I read the synopsis, there was something about it that did intrigue me. Does it mean it will work for me? No, not every book you pick up works. That happens. But I do think I'm better at not going, okay, I had no interest in this book. Now it's super popular. Okay, I'll pick it up. Well, no, I had no interest in this book. I looked at the synopsis. It didn't speak to me. Nothing about this screams Brittany's going to love this book. So just because it's popular does not mean I should pick it up. There's actually multiple titles in my head that are instantly coming to mind. Lights Out is one of them, where like it's super popular and it's just not a Brittany book. It's not a me book. Walk away. Like just walk away from it. The Favorites is one that currently is super, super popular. And so many of my friends give it 5 stars. But I don't think it's a Brittany book. Like I've read another book by the author. It was just okay. Like I just don't, I think for me, and I think it would just make more sense to go, that's just not my book. And that's okay. Not every popular book is going to be your book. And then there will be popular books that are your book. Like last year, When the Moon Hatched. That was a super popular book. I read it and I did love it. But there was a lot of buzzwords in that synopsis and also in what people were saying in their reviews that go, oh, that does sound like it could be a book that I'd be interested in. Does that make sense? So not just falling into like, oh, a book's super popular right now. Oh, I should read it. Well, why am I reading it? Am I just reading it because it's popular, or am I reading it because the author interests me, or the synopsis interests me, or something that someone said in a review sounded like something I would appreciate? Like, or is it just that I'm falling into like everybody loves this book, so I should?
Well, and I think that also plays on the seasons as they change, right? Because like literal seasons, winter, summer, fall, and spring, our lives also have seasons. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm not trying to read books that I don't enjoy in any season.
Agreed.
Because then I have slump seasons, and I have honed my reading to this point. And the thing is I think also, me personally, I get in my own head about books.
Oh, I
Because
totally do. Like, so often.
I know exactly what I like reading, right? So like we know that Neva lives for a hockey romance. Okay. And then I'm like, okay, but if all I'm reading is hockey romance, no one's going to care about my channel. And I'm not saying that that's true. In fact, it's probably, what is it that Jess Massey calls that? I don't remember what she called it. It's something belief. Limiting belief.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that's a limiting belief, because people tune into our channels because they like us. Right? So they want to know what we also like. Even if they don't like the thing that we like, they are still here to listen to us talk about the things that we like. Right?
Well, and I do the same thing. Like the last couple weeks, I have been obsessed with Kayla's videos, Books and Lala. Now, I've always watched Books and Lala. I don't think I've just discovered Books and Lala, but like the last few Kayla videos have just been like hitting. Like as soon as she uploads, I'm like, oh, I want to watch it immediately. Like just something about it is just like I'm really vibing with it right now.
I've been like that with Jan Agaton. And we know I love a Jan video, but it's like every time a Jan video hits my feed, I'm watching it.
But do I read anything that Kayla reads? No.
And I do read some stuff that Jan reads, but Jan,
not a thing.
Jan dips deeper into horror than I do.
Yes.
I actually get a lot of my horror recs from her. Like a lot of the horror that I put on my TBR, even if you never heard me talk about it, I do get from her, because she tends to delve darker into horror than I do.
Yes.
I do like horror, but I'm not quite sure where my horror
the line is. Yeah, where the limit is. Yes, and absolutely.
So it's not something that I've super explored on my channel, because like I know what I like in dark romance. I don't know exactly what I like in horror. So it's not something I've delved deep into on my channel. It's not something that I'm super like confident in talking about. Like I'm confident in talking about dark romance. Like I know what I like in dark romance. But I think especially when it comes to things like hockey romance, not everyone loves a hockey romance. No, not everyone likes it.
Let's talk about even our best friends don't even like a hockey romance as much as we do.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, okay, but if I'm just reading hockey romance for a month, no one's gonna watch this. But then we did the hockey romance collab. And that video did well on my channel. But I was like, it's because you, my guy, are passionate about hockey romance.
We are.
And I think that's the thing, is that the videos that do the best on my channel personally are the ones where it's like clear that I am authentically excited about them. So if I'm reading popular books that I don't care about, that reflects in my video.
It really does.
And the amount of videos that I've scrapped because I'm like, okay, but you don't even care about this book. You can't talk about this book for 30 minutes, like for a video, because you did not like this book. Gothicana was supposed to have its own vlog. And when I decided that I didn't care about this book, I was like, okay, there's no point in me making a vlog about this.
Yeah.
Because the buzzword of Gothicon, I thought I would like it. The writing, not good. I'll be real. Like the writing is not great. And I was only vibing with it when I was reading it. So I was like, this is not a book that I can make a vlog about. Like it can go into a coffee and book chat, but I can't make a vlog about this because you're going to be able to tell that I don't care.
Well, and I think the I don't care review is actually so much harder to give than a I hate review.
Oh yeah, I said in this book and coffee chat, which you'll see before this video goes up, because actually on the day that we're filming this, that video will go up. But I say in the video, like, I don't really have anything to say about this book. Like I have nothing bad to say. I have nothing good to say. So like I'm not going to say anything else. That's because like so literally that 5-minute blip, that's all I have to say. I DNF'd it. I didn't care about the book unless I was reading it. And that's it. And I think that especially when we have busy seasons like what we have right now, where we're trying to juggle things and like I'm trying to
And
find.
we're going into summer too with our kids. You know, the summer with kids is a different vibe. It's
and
different.
Let me tell you, trying to find like peace in singleness for me personally with
Yes.
kids is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't, it's not like if I was a single person like that had no other, like no one else to deal with. Like if I just had like my family to deal with, fine. But with kids are very needy. That sounds terrible. But like if you're a parent, you understand what I'm saying.
You're on
Children
all the
need
time.
a lot of attention and they need a lot of nurturing to grow, as is what you need to do. It's different. So like, okay. So the last time that I was single for like a long period of time, was after Ari's biological dad, which is not who I refer to as Ari's dad. Okay. After he and I broke up and I got rid of him and there was a lot of weird stuff that happened with that. I was then single for like 3 years. I mean, I dated, but I wasn't like actively like
You were in a relationship. Yes.
And to me, dating is different than
Oh,
being
100%.
Well, then I was with Ari's dad. And that was a polyamorous relationship, which that expends more energy than a monogamous one because there's more people and like puzzle pieces to juggle, right? Obviously that didn't work out. But then I went from that relationship. I was only out of that relationship for about 2.5 months before we transitioned. And then there was a lot of stuff that was happening behind the scenes that I'm not going to talk about with that next relationship. So now I'm like, okay, we're going to sit in peace of trying to be single for a little bit. Like, I don't know how long that little bit is, but trying to like rediscover yourself at 33.
This would be a really interesting conversation that I think maybe we'll tackle like in its own episode because this is something that I've gone through, as you know.
Yeah.
Because after my divorce, I was single for 3 years.
Yeah.
I literally, and I didn't even date. Like I was like, no, I was like, I'm done. Like I just completely took myself out of that equation and I focused on my son and focused on me. And I think that was the right thing to do. Like looking back on that, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Because I was much more ready to take on a future relationship once I was ready to do that.
Yeah.
But that would be a really interesting discussion as someone, because we both have been in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like in different seasons.
Because while I have been accused of apparently wanting to date other people, I've completely removed myself from it. Like my dad has asked me to my face, okay, well, what's your next step? And I was like, my next step is what I'm doing. Like like Jesus himself would have to be like, this is your soulmate for me to even attempt. Like
I have literally said that exact line to my mother before. I was like, the Lord would have to come and tell me himself that this is the person for me. Like, that's where I was at the time. I totally get it.
It's literally not even a thought in my brain.
No, I'm not. And if you're not ready, there's no point in opening up to that, because you're setting everything up for failure. You're setting everything up for failure if you're not in the right place for that. Because when you open yourself up, maybe you will meet the perfect person, but you're not in the perfect place for that. So it's the right person, wrong time. You know?
And the thing is like even the thought of getting into another relationship.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
makes me bulk, bro. Like I'm like no, and it's like this is like a busy season, but I'm also trying to like refine like the things that I liked to do.
Yeah, self-discovery after being in a relationship, or even like you said, like back-to-back relationships. That's something we definitely are going to talk about. And unfortunately, we do not have time today. So I am going like one of us needs to write that down, because that would be a really good discussion for a future episode, because truly, it's something that I went through about 4 or 5 years ago now that, well, 4 or 5 and then took 3. So, 2-ish years, anyway.
Yeah.
Did the exact same thing. So I totally relate to that. And I think we'd have a really good discussion around it. But Not Enough Spoons is over. Where the hour sometimes just poof and it's gone and I don't know where it goes.
I feel like when we have good discussions,
it goes so fast.
That's when it goes really fast, is because we have such good
we have a lot to say.
And somebody will relate to this discussion.
100%. Because if we're in seasons busy, well, and no matter what season you're in, you can relate to the moment of like, wow, my life is changing because of the season I'm in. We've all been through many seasons in life and process that. And I wonder if, again, I think because the season is all, you said this, because the outside season is changing. It even creates seasons in our life to change alongside that because the activities are shifting. What we're doing is shifting. We're coming out of being in our house all winter and doing the spring things and the summer things and all that. So we are going to leave you here. We're going to let you get to your Monday, friends. We hope you have enough spoons for your Monday, and we'll see you soon. Bye.